All right. Fire them up. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Genre of Your Life podcast, your go-to podcast for all things movies, TV, entertainment, episode number 70. I am one of your hosts, Doug Jones. With me, as always, are my amazing co-hosts and two of my best friends in the world. First off, right here to my right, it's my right, your left, is Nick Johnson, the one only one of Mr. Nick Johnson. How's it going, buddy? How are you, buddy?
Good, man.
How you doing, buddy, man? To your right, but to the left. How are you, my boy? How's it going?
I'm good. I'm all right.
All right, yeah, there you go.
I'm all right.
It took your breath away again. and last but not least, it's Mr. Hollywood himself. It is the amazing, incredible. It's the one and only. It's Mr. Moses Lowy. What's going on, Moses? What's up, brother?
What's going on? I'm just glad to be here. Glad to talk movies, sports. No, I'm just kidding. Just movies. You know what I mean?
World culture.
No, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be with you guys and everything like that. And glad to be alive. In this world. So yeah,
I like that.
Yes, indeed.
I like that. Positivity, guys. Come on now.
Yeah.
So we ooze. This is what we provide to you guys, man. This is a free positivity podcast for you guys. Take on that TED Talk. I'm kidding. But no, thank you all for joining again on this week. If you're new to the show, welcome to the podcast. If you're returning, welcome back to the podcast. We are so glad you came back for more ramblings about our love for movies, TV, entertainment. Of course, you can find the show on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast platform of choice. Also, our full video show now on our YouTube, exclusively on YouTube, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. Stay tuned. In about a week, we're headed to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. So we're gonna be blowing up your phone and social media feeds with vlogs, reactions, you name it. Like wherever we go, you'll see it. You're gonna see everything from pictures, videos to TikToks, everything. So
that's right. We're taking y'all with us.
Yeah, we're going on the road. Taking the show on the road.
Yes, sir.
So stay tuned for that. We have a lot of cool coverage for that. A lot of cool things. Simple Favor 2, Count 2. A lot of things in the store for you guys. So stay tuned for that. But of course, thank you so much for listening to the show. Again, whether you're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please rate and subscribe to the show. We want to hear from you all. Positive, negative, neutral. Hey, all press is good press. So we want to hear from you guys, your comments and feedback. It means the world to us. But again, thank you so much for listening to the show. And we hope you're still enjoying us ramble about our passion for movies, TV, entertainment. Alrighty, guys, we have a really cool show in store for you all this week. We have two big reviews. We have, of course, our Last Breath review that we're going to begin with. And, of course, we have our spoiler-filled conversation. That's right, folks. Spoilers for Captain America Brave New World. So, with that said, all right, Nick, a few weeks ago, actually, it was Last Breath, but now it's hitting theaters nationwide today, this evening. And that is Focus Features' Last Breath, the movie based on the incredible true story, as well as the documentary, I believe, that came out a couple of years ago, made by the same filmmaker. And Last Breath follows the story of the true story that follows seasoned deep sea divers as they battle the raging elements to rescue their crewmate trapped hundreds of feet below the ocean's surface. Nick, as someone who on record said this movie took your breath away, what were your thoughts of the movie Last Breath?
I had a lot of fun with this movie. Genuinely speaking, it was thrilling because it's like you hear all these stories about how unexplored the ocean is, and like you see them like walking on the bottom of it, and it's like it felt like a horror movie low key. The underwater shots I thought were like fantastic. Just kind of, and even like them explaining like, this is how dangerous this is, if this isn't done a certain way, then XYZ could happen. And just, so you really got a sense of the danger, a sense of the stakes, and just kind of seeing how everybody was trying to do their thing to save the guy. It was intense. So yeah, I just love that about it. And I feel like I haven't seen a movie like this in a little bit. And the cast was great. Woody Harrelson, Simu Liu,
and Finn Cole.
Yeah. I'm not as familiar with Finn Cole, I believe, but no, awesome cast. Yeah, it was just great. I loved it.
All right, out of 10, what would you give it?
I would probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, it's something for me. I like it a lot, yeah.
High praise. Yeah, this movie, it's definitely one of those, I mean, it's in the best way possible, like paint by numbers, kind of like inspirational true stories, because, you see a lot of movies like Deepwater Horizon reminded me a lot of, and what's the one, I always forget the name, James Franco, Stuck on a Rock.
127 hours.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't blank on that name. It's a mix of those two movies. This movie is incredibly well made. I do like that Focus Features is still making movies like this for the big screen. Like, this could have been a Netflix movie and Hulu movie for sure. Because I know the documentary was made for, of course, like for streaming, whatever. But after seeing this, I for sure want to watch the documentary now. I was like, I want to see how different it was with like certain things and kind of like the real life kind of like footage, everything. But to Nick's point too, I think the chemistry between Finn Cole, Simu Liu, and Woody Harrelson is really kind of the heart of this movie. Like, you felt the brotherhood between all three of them. Like, they work together as a unit for sure. I think a lot of these movies, whether it's like Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor, I'm blanking out a few other ones, but like the heart of the story is kind of like the real people who had like on this bond that like, hey, we're in this together, surviving this together. And like, again, you see the for sure, like, you believe their chemistry and brotherhood in this movie. I will say, I think it's cool to see Simu Liu do more of these kind of like inspirational movies like this, or Arthur the King last year with Mark Wahlberg, but the dog that helped him kind of save the race, the triathlon, whatever, last year. Very good movie to watch as well. But also to Nick's point too, I was very impressed for a movie of this budget and this caliber. The underwater cinematography was very immersive. Yeah, very immersive. And I was like, man, they got James Cameron in this bitch doing this. I was like, damn, for this movie with this budget, good for them. But you see a lot of movies that are like underwater, you're just like, it's definitely CG.
Yeah, it's either like CG or a tank or something like that. Yeah, this is like, shit.
Somebody's neighbor's like kiddie pool, like, okay, get in there, man. Like, just move the camera a little bit
with some green screen around it.
Yeah, right. No, seriously. So I watched it, and I told you we saw the movie. I was like, wow, the cinematography in this underwater. They even said too, they had a above water cinematographer and an underwater cinematographer, and I was like, good on them for having kind of like the best of both worlds, because it really felt believable when they were under the water with the rope and everything, and like they're kind of being like tied down to like to fix their mission, to do the mission, whatever. And the movie starts off with saying like, this is the dangerous job in the world. You're like, how really? And you see, you're like,
like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about.
I mean, they better have the best health benefits ever. I was like, oh my gosh. But no, it's one of those like kind of right quick to the point movies too. It's an hour, like 20, 25. It goes by really quick too. And we saw a lot of movies this past one that were really quick. Like Love Hurts was really like short. Companion was very quick to the point. So it was really cool to see a movie that was kind of like, not a lot of fat on it. It was very kind of like right to it. Here's what happened, whatever. With that said, though, I don't think the script was all that special, unfortunately. I felt like it would have been cool to see maybe more of the development of their character just a little bit more. Maybe that's what documentary is for, probably what serves the purpose of that. But I kind of felt just a little flat on certain things of like, oh, when it ended, it was like, oh, that was it. Because it was kind of like, again, quick to the point. But I kind of wanted it's a bit more pizzazz, or a bit more like, it's a bit more development of like who they really were, maybe outside of.
Okay, you want to see like the home life a little bit.
Yeah, because we saw Finn Cole's character, the real guy. He's kind of like him and his fiance, whatever. But like just seeing how like their dynamic outside of the tank too, and also them living in that nasty ass tank couldn't be me. Bro. Couldn't be me. That tank that they were in, bro, living. I was like, nah. I'm like, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. But. No, but again, I was very impressed with the movie. It's one of those like I think better. You know what it was too? It reminded me of Sully, the Sully biopic too, because a lot of the story is just the incident in themselves when the plane on the Hudson. The movie of this is like the incident of like he has like the cord tied him, cuts, whatever, and then that's the movie about them. Kind of him surviving, which is like what, it was like 30 minutes, right? He was underwater, and he lost conscious like what 8 minutes in or 10 minutes in, something like that. So it was like, whoa, like and he still survived, and we were like, oh my gosh. But it's remarkable how he still survived, and how, again, this is not a spoiler, it's on the news that 3 weeks later they all went back to finish the job.
I told Doug in theaters, I'm like, ain't no way I'm going back. Like, heck no.
Hell no.
I would have been retired after that.
No, not at all. And to Nick made a great point too, is that this is one of the movies that I think I've seen in a while with you, or in general, where is like we were on the edge of our seat. We were like, yo, we were, him and I were like rocking back and forth. We were like, hey, like,
I was like, I didn't like, I wasn't familiar with the story really.
No,
so
neither
I was
was
like,
I.
I had no idea what was gonna be happening next, but
yeah. It's a very well made movie. Again, if you can see it in Dolby too, we said it at our reaction too. Like the sound mixing in this is very impressive. Like all the underwater dialogues and really good. But that scene where he loses his cord, you and I were like, yo, that was cool. That was cool. So for a movie with, again, this caliber and this scale, I thought the cinematography was really just immersive, but the sound design and mixing in this was very, very well crafted and well made. So yeah, you can see it in Dolby or like a Cine Capri or kind of like a high, like a premium format. Not an IMAX, but like a Dolby or a Prime or what AMC and Cinemark and Harkins has, or Regal has, like RPX, whatever, and Regal. Definitely see it for like the underwater cinematography and the sound mixing, because you're like, wow, this is very well crafted. But I would give Last Breath a solid 6 out of 10, just because it was still maybe 6.5. I'll be at 6.5 out of 10, because I feel like I definitely like appreciated the filmmaking aspect. I just wanted a bit more with like the story and kind of the backstory to everybody, but still a very well made movie. It would be if my review was on the Rotten Tomatoes, which it will be one day, everybody will be. Me, Moses, and Nick will be on the Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm calling it now, but it'll be a fresh review. But yeah, 6.5 out of 10, solid movie, but it's definitely kind of like, you know, safe, pay my numbers kind of like biopics, but still very well made and very well acted. So Last Breath is in theaters this weekend, guys. So go check it out for yourself. Alrighty, everybody. Now the main event you've all been waiting for, and that is Moses Lowry's defense and love for Captain America, Brave New World. Right, Moses?
Confused. Did you guys hate it or something? Or
No, I'm kidding. Because like, so a little backstory. When in our group chat, it was because he saw it before me and Nick, and then this is why I love Moses. You too, Nick, but your reaction to movies, Moses was like, man, I love Captain America. Fuck the haters. And I was like, see, there we go. Let's see what we're talking about. And I said, man, Moses was so good, bro. He enlisted in the army the next day.
yeah,
I had the link to the army.
Yeah, no, that's funny. I was like, maybe I should. No.
So you're like had a career change. So
what's that?
oh my gosh.
So yeah, but real quick, Captain America: Brave New World follows Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, who finds himself in the middle of an international incident and must discover the motive behind a nefarious global plan. Moses, my friend, you saw it first. What were your thoughts? Again, we'll also do a non-spoiler in the front and then spoiler in the back. So basic thoughts first. Moses, your thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World.
Now, I for me, you know, like if I had to put one word, describe one word for that movie and everything like that, I just thought it was fun. It was fun for me, you know. And I went in there not really expecting like whatever anybody else expected. I wasn't expecting like an event, Marvel event or whatever, because those event movies only happen if it's an Avengers movie, you know, or if it has like 10 other Avengers in that movie, if it's like a Captain America Civil War or whatever that might be,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I just looked at it as another sort of like Marvel movie, you know what I mean? From like, you know, from like the early phases. Not really trying to, you know, be something that it's not, you know, and everything. And me watching this film and just you know, and just watching how Sam kind of like, you know, kind of like makes himself and becomes sort of like Captain America throughout the film overall, you know, was great, you know, and everything. And the way that the way how his like sort of like a fighting style developed too as well, the way he's able to sort of like you know, how his sort of like mannerisms sort of like changed too as well, from this, you know, Falcon, from like, you know, Captain America, you know, the Winter Soldier, to, you know, Civil War, to the Avengers, and being almost like a sidekick, to him being like, you know, a like standalone hero. I thought it was great, you know, and yeah, I don't really compare it to any other sort of like Marvel movie. If I did, it would be the first Captain America movie, and that's very much it. I just went in there and I enjoyed, and I just enjoy the movie in general. I enjoyed, Thunderbolt Ross' performance too as well. Why am I forgetting like the legendary actor?
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why my mind just went blank there for some
Moses,
reason. Yeah.
Moses,
I'm glad
Moses.
I'm glad I caught myself.
Moses said Indiana Jones was so good in this movie, guys. Han Solo killed it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, but I think he also very much, carry this movie a little bit too as well. Which whenever like, Sam Wilson's character was kind of like little dry here and there and everything. I definitely thought, Harrison Ford's character, Thunderbolt Ross, kind of like carried the film here and there. And I like and I like the Falcon, Joaquin and everything. He definitely brought like the humor to the film to as well. And the since it's a spoiler, one of my favorite scenes in here isn't like the fight sequence or anything like that. It's actually like the cinema. It's like the sentimental. I can't even say the fucking word. Sentimental.
Yep.
Scene,
Sentimental.
yeah, sentimental scenes
Yes,
that
yes.
are that were actually in the film and everything. So like the ending, when Joaquin and Sam are just having a chat and everything when Joaquin is in a hospital. I just thought that scene was you know was was easy, but was great in so many ways. The fact that Joaquin like looks up to Sam you know because how much he wants to be like him and everything like that. A guy from Miami, like he says to as well. It's like, man, I don't know. I just enjoy it. And also, by the way, when it comes down to like the visuals, like the cinematography, I would say this movie has one of the best cinematography. It definitely beats Deadpool Wolverine. You can kill me if you want or whatever, but it
Interesting.
definitely has better visuals than that when it comes down to cinematography wise, to as well for me. And I would say it's probably the most better looking films that's definitely shot. Yeah, and I'm glad that they didn't exactly shoot on film, but they added this like film grain, which was really really that made the
Mm.
film pop a little bit, which I thought was really really cool. Too as well, like the lighting was really really good, and them shooting in anamorphic lenses too as well was really really nice. I would say it's the more colorful Marvel film that I've seen. I thought Deadpool Wolverine was a little bit more. People use the term gray for some reason now. Which means like the colors are just flat. You know, but yeah, man, yeah, yeah, and the whole like, and I love that little shot where Anthony Mackie's character kind of starts. There's a fight sequence where it's the Japanese versus the U.S. and everything like that, and they're fighting, and how he kind of jumps on the fucking like missile and everything, and rises like a
Oh
spin.
yeah.
That was really really cool. But just that whole sequence in general, man, that kind of like I was definitely seated. I was definitely seated for sure. But yeah, man, I just had fun, man. You know me, I just love movies. I go in there.
As you
I go
should.
in and I don't expect I disassociate myself and I'm good at it and I know how to disassociate myself from from a movie that's there to entertain you and a movie that's there to make you think,
Mm.
right? And everything. If I had to rate this from like one out of 10 in terms of entertainment, I definitely give it a 9 because it entertained me,
Nice.
right? Entertain me. Somebody else's opinion might be different from me, and everything that's totally fine. But I definitely looked at it in a way of it, going there. Are you going to entertain me or not? And it did, you know. So that's pretty much it. I just I hope whatever they do next, you know, we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, yeah,
I like what you said too about that scene. Because we're spoilers now. The scene, the scene at the end where he's at the hospital with Sam and
yeah,
working at the hospital. It reminded me of the scene in Winter Soldier. Remember when Sam was at the hospital for Steve when he has like the Curtis Mayfield song playing too.
He's like, oh, on your left.
Yeah,
it was a little callback.
I like that a lot. And also, I liked your point that he said too, because you were one of the Avengers that didn't have superpowers. You were a hero. You were a true hero that didn't take the serum, whatever. But Nick, I'll have you go to it now too. What were your thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World?
So are we doing spoilers?
Yeah,
okay. But so
he hates it, man.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this movie. No, I'm teasing. No, like kind of what you guys were saying too about the ending. Like I thought like that last scene between Sam and Joaquin was just like, it was just like so powerful and like so impactful, and it just kind of felt like this is like Sam's like thesis in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is kind of like his. This is like the why he does it in a way, and it was just like it really hit when he said like, you know, like there's a lot of people that would basically want to be where I'm at, and so like that's why I feel like I have to do the best that I can, basically all the time. And it's like, dang, like you kind of it was cool to see him hold himself to such a high standard and like, you know, kind of break down why. I like that a lot. Red Hulk was cool. He was dope. He was fun. It just, the only thing is like they kind of treated it like it was supposed to be a big reveal, but everybody already knew that it was going to be a big reveal. That's not necessarily the movie's fault. It's just, you know, for whatever reason, we all knew what was up. But
no, the marketing, yeah, you know,
yeah, the marketing, exactly. And Moses, to your point, or because I think you mentioned Harrison Ford in it, like, yeah, Harrison Ford like definitely kind of. He helped carry the movie. Not like it was like lacking necessarily like that, but like one, it was just really cool to see Harrison Ford in a Marvel movie, and him as General Ross, or as President Ross now. That was just really fun to see, and it was fun to see his like kind of back and forth with Sam. It was cool to see the conflict there, and I even like the new direction that the character was like trying to go in, and like, you know, like, hey, I want to like restart the Avengers with you, but like I want you to work with me like directly, whatever, like da. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, because also like there basically is no Avengers, you know, which is kind of wild to think. And like after having seen this movie, it's like I never really had a problem with Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. I almost said the Falcon, but becoming Captain America. But like at the end of Endgame, it kind of felt like, wow, like I'm not mad at it, but it seemed like y'all were like leading up to Bucky being the next Captain America, like since, not even just since Winter Soldier, but since First Avenger, because there was all these shots of him carrying the shield. But you know, he got the shield from Steve. Yeah, that's a great shot too. Dang.
I love that shot.
Yeah, like, and it's like he's like, you know, like I'll do my. So I was like, okay, you know, I didn't expect it to go that way, but I'm excited to see where it goes now. And then, you know, that was the whole thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and where it was like exploring his decision and why he ultimately decided to do it, obviously. But this movie, it's also like, if you didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it still works. Like it still flows. Like
absolutely.
You still kind of understand everything. Yeah,
totally.
But going back to the whole point, like this movie too, like it showed Sam Wilson. Like I felt like I really understood. Like, okay, this is why he's Captain America, and you get to see why he's so effective as Captain America, because everybody like looks up to him. Everybody held him in like a high regard, and he was kind of like a man of the people. And also, you know, it's like it's still like impactful, for lack of a better word. Like he's at like such a high standard, high place in like his like superhero career, but still without even taking the super soldier serum, and like without a mask too. So it's just kind of like, wow, this guy's like, he's really just kind of putting himself out there.
What's the line he goes? He goes, Bucky was full of shit.
Yeah, Bucky was full of shit. I should have taken
that serum.
But no, that was cool. But I like, after seeing this movie, it's like, okay, I get it. Like, and I like Anthony Mackie as Captain America. And so I feel like it was really effective in that. Like he did a really good job in the role. I loved seeing Carl Lumley come back because he was Martian Manhunter on the Justice League show when I was a kid, and they brought him in as Isaiah Bradley, like the first Black Captain America in the MCU.
Yeah.
And like his the scene where he got arrested, like, man, it almost brought me to tears, man, because if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, you see his history and you see like the kind of like deeper context as to like
PTSD.
Why he was saying like, you know, I can't go back in, and they like summed it up in the movie, but in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, you really 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 felt it. So seeing the scene of him getting arrested, it was kind of like, oh man, it was like breaking my heart, man. But it was a really good scene, good movie overall. Like Moses said, fun movie. It was some stuff where I'm like, that's a little bit corny, I think. Like,
there were some
like,
lines,
like, it was a couple of cheesy lines, but overall, man, like, great movie. I think I gave it like a B+ if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, and it was a little bit weird that it was low-key just Incredible Hulk Part 2 because it was all the Incredible Hulk villains. Like,
there's a lot of Incredible Hulk villains, yeah.
Yeah, and like, but I will admit, I did like how they did Samuel Stearns, the leader. Oh wait, before you go to that one,
Which one?
Back. Yeah, I need you to pull this. This is a picture of Isaiah Bradley from the comics.
And let me pull up on. There we go.
I had this picture saved on my phone when I was a kid because I just thought it was so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that shit goes hard. That's dope.
That's gonna be your new tattoo.
I'm about to get it right here. About to get it right here. About to get it next to my Superman tattoo right here.
I know you gonna say that.
I'm gonna just have a take up my whole back. It's gonna be one of those types of tattoos. But completely lost my train of thought. The leader. It was weird because there was concept art of him with like the big head, like in the comics. But then you see the movie. I do like the movie design where his brain looks warped and it's kind of poking out of his head and his eyes glow green, but like one of his eyes is kind of fucked up.
I do wish that they took, like, just a little bit more in like the comic route and making his head just a little bit bigger or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I do like what they did to it visually, which in the beginning and how we get introduced to him, he's more like a dark figure that you don't really see. And, the lighting department, whatever, the gaffer and everything like that did a good job of kind of like, like hiding his face until that sort of like moment where he kind of pops up. It's like that James Bond shot where it's like only silhouette and then he kind of pops out of nowhere where you actually see his full face. I thought it was really, really nice and really, really cool.
Yeah, this right here. Yeah, this kind of like
that was dope because I was like, holy shit! I was like, what's it gonna look like?
He's an unlocked character.
Yeah, he's an unlocked character in Marvel Rivals and shit.
Yeah, right. You're not good.
But no, he was dope. I really liked how they handled his character, and I thought the post credit scene was a little bit mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I was gonna say that one thing I do wish that they had is I wish that I get it. They wanted to make sure that this movie was a standalone film for, Sam Wilson's character. I wish that there was more, maybe like another Avenger in here. You know what I mean? Like Sam, Bucky doesn't exactly matter, or Agent, I forgot her name, blonde. She was blonde.
Agent Carter?
Yeah, Agent Carter. Yeah,
even Agent Carter.
Yeah.
You know
Whatever
what I mean?
happened to her? She just disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm like, so are we just not gonna fucking follow up with that? Because I was that seemed like it was a big deal at the time.
13.
That's right. Yeah, because she wasn't in Falcon and Winter Soldier, was she?
She was. She was also in
That's right.
She was in Captain America: Civil War.
That's right. I saw Falcon and Winter Soldier like during COVID, and it's been a couple of years, so forgive me. That's right.
Yeah. So I was like, why don't you just bring her instead? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is, I think, and this is someone who actually liked them. Again, I'm with you guys. I like this movie quite a bit. I think, to your point too, Moses, I think people are looking for something to hate. I think but to your point though, I think we covered this on the show about a year ago when I say that Remember all the rumors about a year ago, the reshoots and test screenings, and I'm pretty sure we covered it like around this time a year ago. It was like, oh man, the reshoots are really bad. So I think people already had a preconceived idea of like what this movie is. And to your point, Moses, I think people are trying to prepare to like, it ain't no Winter Soldier, and I was like, well, it's not Winter Soldier. It's its own. It's a different movie. It tries to be a political thriller, kind of like Air Force One at times too. But it's not Winter Soldier. It's a different movie. It's a different Cap. It's still the Lou of the Marvel kind of universe of political thrillers and kind of that kind of style. But it's not that movie. But to your point, though, I do think that the reason why maybe she wasn't in it, because remember you said this too when we saw the movie, that there was a different characters in the movie too that were cut.
Yeah, that's right. Because originally, excuse me. Originally, it was going to be like this group of villains called the Serpent Society, and I remember one of the actors in it was this guy from WWE.
WWE, yeah,
yeah, and like he was saying, like like they cut my whole shit, they recasted me, and they recasted like everybody with Giancarlo Esposito basically. And I'm not gonna lie, dude, after watching this movie, I like it. I like the stakes and everything. I feel like it should have just been Giancarlo Esposito was behind everything the whole time for whatever reason, instead of all the Hulk stuff.
I agree, because I am a massive fan of Giancarlo Esposito. I'm a massive fan of him.
No, especially in this film, like the opening sequence and everything like that. When you get introduced to like his character, like I'm like, man, like he definitely like scares me, a little bit. And I'm like he really like takes like really takes in the character, the character he's playing.
He's one of the probably the best villain of our generation. I feel like, one of the best actors who plays villains with like Breaking Bad's Gus Fring. You think back to all these movies he's played, and even what was his name? What was he in Do the Right Thing, Bugging Out? Was that his name? Or
I think so.
Something like that.
Misses on this.
Because didn't you met him, didn't you? Or
no,
Kaylin did, which is really cool. Which is really cool. But no, to your point, that's why like I felt like when I watched I told you said the movie too. I said I could have used a lot more Giancarlo Esposito. I was like, ooh, like he's a great actor.
He wasn't in it long enough.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't want to waste a guy like him, but I bet you'll probably bring him back for another movie.
Yeah, like
sure.
they have to be setting him up for something, because I think originally he was even saying like, oh, I want to play like Professor X or something. It's like he would be perfect for that, but he got this role instead. So that does make me think, at least hopeful, that he will.
He did say himself he's gonna come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even that that line just kind of solidified it for me. He should have just been the main villain. That way, he's kind of like the arch rival for this new Captain America, basically.
Because also, I remember when the trailer came out last Comic-Con, right before Deadpool Wolverine came out, they said, oh, he's playing John Washington Carver or George Washington Carver or something like that. Like, he was playing some kind of like...
I don't think George Washington Carver.
No. It was like some kind of like some kind of like alias. It was some kind of like different, like Washington something. It was some kind of George Washington.
Because I think I did hear like he had like a different alias. So
sorry,
the name escapes me. Though.
It was something I thought. Someone said online it was like a George Washington something.
I think there was a theory. He had something to do with like maybe the like the Sentinel program in the comics. Like his character was connected with that.
It somehow. Was. Let me see. What there was the. Yeah. Bridge.
Oh, George Washington Bridge.
Carver, sorry, Bridge. I was like Carver, Bridge.
I was like, nah, not George Washington Carver.
That'd be great. That would be great.
If this was the MCU depiction of George Washington Carver, bro, I wouldn't know how to.
Bridge.
I wouldn't know how to. What to think about that?
But not Carver, Bridge. Because I remember like last year when the trailer came out, they were like, oh, he's playing George Washington Bridge. Yeah. And he was like, no, I'm not. And everyone was like, yes, you are. And he goes, no,
he's like, who the fuck is that?
Because everyone was saying at Comic-Con, oh, he's playing George Washington Bridge, and he keeps saying, no, I'm not. And they're like, don't tell me who I'm playing.
He's like, you cannot give me any advice.
Yeah, so I don't know. To your point, I think it would have been cooler to see him as
like the main guy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to pull up our visual here, him, and then it was
because it's also like it still could have just been like Giancarlo Esposito has some plot that involves, Celestial Island, and like that's kind of like the main thing. You can maybe still have President Ross be the Red Hulk or whatever, but it's like it's not really needed. You can save that for like, I know they can't like make a Hulk 2, but it's like this was just Hulk 2, but with Captain America as a hero instead. It's just so
read that. but he's a human, and then George Washington Bridge is, well, it's a bridge. And someone said he's got range. He's got range. Oh man, but that's why I remember last Comic-Con, everyone was like, he's playing this George Washington Bridge, whatever, blah blah. But no, it could have used a lot more of him because he's a phenomenal actor. So someone said, I forgot who, it might have been Double Toasted, where it was like they're kind of treating him like Claw. Remember how Claw was kind of like,
oh yeah,
Oh,
and
got
he's
you.
in Age of Ultron, and then he got brought back for Black Panther.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
his arc will probably be another standalone movie. I doubt we're gonna see him in like Avengers or whatever, but maybe maybe Spider-Man 4, maybe a different kind of movie, maybe like more like a standalone kind of film, because it was like, oh yeah, because again, you don't want to waste him as an actor. He's a
No, I mean, yeah, it's
phenomenal
like,
actor.
Hell no.
yeah, you do not want to waste that at all and everything. But yeah, man. Yeah, I just hope that, for Captain America, Sam Wilson's character and everything like that, for Avengers, Doomsday, I hope that they even, like up one, like, I don't know, like in terms of like his like fighting ability and all those kind of things like that. I hope it's like even like 2 times better than it was, in this too as well.
Yeah, I think so. Just because, like, and I agree. I think Anthony Mackie is a charismatic. He's a perfect choice for Cap.
Yeah,
I think he's very charismatic. I mean, again, the guy's been working in Hollywood for so long, and I think he said in an interview this is his kind of first leading movie, like not co-lead, like his first like leading man, because he's a co-lead in Pain and Gain and a few other movies too, but like, this is kind of his first like leading, like him carrying a movie. Again, I think Andy Mackie's very charismatic, very funny, very quick, but also you can tell like he puts in the work. He puts in the work for all his roles. He doesn't half-ass anything. Like I've seen movies that he's been in that have been bad, but he's never been bad in a movie that I've seen him in.
Right.
So I think with him is that like he owns this role. I think he proved his point. Like he proved himself that, hey, I can be a Captain America. I'm a great Falcon. I'm a great Sam Wilson. And I think this movie really shows his range as an actor. And that, hey, I'm a leading man. I can pull this off. And I think he's the heart and soul of this movie for sure. I think this is like a great debut for him, theatrically, not TV show, but theatrically for him as Captain America. And then you said the other day when we saw the movie that I think what the main issue of the movie, my thing was that there was like 10 writers on this movie, 10 different writers. I think to your point too, Moses, I think you said earlier about what things were changed. I think a lot of rewrites were happening, a lot of kind of like changes in the script, of course. So, because usually you don't see a movie with like 10 different writers, maybe it's 2 or 3, maybe 4. But like it was like 6, and I was like, "Damn!" I was like,
y'all fucking.
Why weren't we there? Why weren't we invited? Like, bring us in. like, you need 3 more? We got you. We'll fly ourselves. We'll meet you down there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was kind of surprised, and someone said, I forgot what I read this the other day too. Someone said that the studio kind of took over because Julius Ona did this movie, who did Cloverfield Paradox, which wasn't really well received, but he's done some other smaller indies, I think, since then. But I think someone said, I forgot, it was an article that like it was kind of apparent that the studio kind of like walking over him a little bit of like he wasn't really ready yet for this kind of movie. And you see it a lot, and like we see it all the time with like DC did that all the time. A lot of movies did it where Josh Trank, of course. Like, I think a lot of filmmaking. I think when you haven't really exposed to that world or not a lot of trust in you, you kind of like I hate saying the word lose your movie, but it becomes like the studio's movie or David Ayer Suicide Squad. Like it's like it kind of take over your movie.
Yeah.
And I was reading something that like. It became like with the reshoots and everything is that like it was just like taken out of Julius Ona's hands. It was like, hey, well, you're still here. We're still gonna have you here working with us, but it became more of like a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing of like it's everyone's movie. It was like, well, let the guy do his work. You hired him for a reason. Let him do his movie. But I think what a lot of people were saying about this movie, the big thing was that the direction could have been a bit stronger, I think, at times. I think to your point too, Nick, that it definitely like felt like it's a loose movie about loose ends. Was Incredible Hulk Part 2, No, 17 years later. About 17 later. But with that said, though, it still didn't take away from Anthony Mackie's Captain America. It wasn't like, all right, you weren't sidelining your own movie. It was still his. He was still very apparent. This is my movie.
Yeah, he was definitely the strongest part of this movie. It's just like it just kind of had some other like extra stuff that I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Some storytelling decisions where you and I both said we're like, if this was this or this was that. 'Cause I remember when we saw the movie a few weeks ago, you and I were like, oh yeah, this would have been that, whatever. So some certain storytelling decisions could have been a bit tweaked a little bit or a bit tightened, but not at the point of like, oh my fucking god, man, what is this?
I think that's it exactly. Just tightened up a little bit.
Yeah,
because I'm like, there's a good story here, like with this new discovery of like adamantium, and like y'all are finally. Like bringing back up the Celestial Island, but it's like it just seems kind of like random at this point, But it's like that's still kind of interesting that y'all interacted with it, but again, kind of random. Interesting that you got like Red Hulk and the leader and everything like that, but again, just kind of random. And so it's just like there's a good movie, a good story in here somewhere. It's just kind of like. Just needs to be tightened up a little bit.
It'd be a bit configured again, and this is no diss to Julius Ono whatsoever. I think
not at all.
Not at all. I think it was just that maybe narrowed down, maybe 2 or 3 writers, maybe have a tighter writing team on board. And something else I was going to say too. Oh, to your point too, Moses. I think what happened with the reshoots is that I heard this somewhere. I forget where I heard this from as well. Is that I was reading somewhere that. Originally, it was supposed to be a surprise for Red Hulk. It was going to be leading up to it, and then boom, whatever. But because of the reshoots and because of all the restructuring, whatever, that they were like, we gotta lead with this. We gotta like put in the marketing. So it wasn't the plan originally to like show Red Hulk, but they were like,
it was like the image is already out there because I think like McDonald's or something, they had a deal with them for like the Happy Meals. And basically, even though the movie kept getting pushed back, McDonald's deal did not. So they're like, we're still just going to release these toys. So it was like, people are going to see that there's Red Hulk in there regardless. So we might as well just like advertise them. But it sucks. Like, because that would have been like a huge fucking thing.
Yeah, it's right. There, here, I'm going to pull up on so everyone can see it too. There it is. Man, that looks cheap as hell too. Like,
that's whack.
Yeah.
I don't even look like the Hulk.
Man, bro, it looks like someone ate a bunch of like super spicy salsa and peppers. Like,
that looks like a minion now. no, but
Kevin.
no. Oh, okay. I mean, like jumping forward a little bit.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, I mean, because I want to jump into like the box office like world and everything, and one thing that frightens me. Because I stopped checking like the box office number for Captain America, on Brave New World and everything. I think not checking, but I stopped like paying attention to it and everything because I know it's like at a 290 something worldwide right now and everything. And a Marvel movie, like that should be around like right now would be around, like before the pandemic era, and everything like that, like around like. A standalone movie would be around like at least like 500, by now, or whatever, or even like 4 something.
Mm-hmm.
And Captain America, the Winter Soldier, their box office was like, was 760 something, worldwide, and I just hope that this movie, in terms of box office, is that it makes at least a certain amount for it not to be an embarrassment or whatever when it comes down to money wise and everything like that. Because, box office just tells you who goes to see the movie, and everything like that. Not Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, but the box office tells you like, okay, how many people really want to go see this movie and everything. And the fact that there was so much hate in the beginning overall for this movie. It caused the downfall of this box office number for this movie. I feel like, it started off very, very great at the beginning, right? And then a freaking huge drop,
That's a 68.3% drop, which is not good.
Yeah. So, and it says that it needs to make at least like 400 and something to make its money back, right? And I don't know if it's gonna get that far. I think it's probably gonna hit at least like I don't know, 350, worldwide, and and that's probably gonna be, that's probably gonna be it, But there was just so much negative. There's so much negative, like talk about this movie, overall, and there's so much like, racism towards this movie too as well, because of the fact that there's a Black Captain America, whatever it is, it's like, did you not read the comics in the first place, too as well, but yeah, man, there's so much hate for this movie in the beginning for why the box office numbers are so low, and everything, and and yeah, um, yeah. So I hope that I hope that the box office numbers doesn't judge Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, moving forward in Doomsday for his scenes or whatever to basically shrinking down, you know, and everything,
Right.
because that might cause that or whatever it is, you know. And even though there's this narrative of the Russo brothers basically saying that he is leading this film and everything, you know, the box office now and where it's at, the studio itself, Marvel Studio, might tell the Russo brothers, hey, we might need to change a few things here since the box office was so low. We don't know who saw the movie. We don't know how many people saw the movie, and everything. We might need to take a different route and have two people like be the front. We might need to have two front men in the film and everything like that for Avengers Doomsday, or whatever, instead of it just being Sam Wilson, you know, and or three people. It doesn't exactly matter, So I'm just saying overall, I feel like the box office number might cause some changes in the script of Avengers Doomsday for Sam Wilson not to have so many scenes, or for him not to be the front man of the
Right.
of the Avengers team, I would say. So, and yeah, I don't know,
That's a no. It's a very good point. I think what we all should learn. I think this is something that Hollywood's still learning is not to be reactionary to things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy did really good. Let's make everything like Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, Deadpool did very good. Let's do everything like Deadpool. It's like, or BVS didn't do too well. Let's do the opposite of that. It's like, no. Don't be reactionary to things because again, that's how you kind of like set off. You lose audiences, or you lose kind of you lose the fan base or whatever. I think
Don't try to course correct too soon,
Yes.
too early on in the process.
Absolutely. And I think to your point too, Mose, I think lucky that I think the Russo brothers have a love for Anthony Mackie because all three of them debuted at the same time with Winter Soldier. So I think that's why like I think also they speak really highly of him in like all their press and all their kind of other kind of like interviews, stuff like that. I think what it was, I think to your point, Moses, I think there was a lot of hate with this movie going in. I think it was just kind of like similar to a way of like how Aquaman 2 had all those like really just, I mean, years upon years of like bad test screenings and bad reshoots, whatever. Unfortunately, now the word reshoot now is like movie's doomed, and most of the time, majority of the time, that is the case. But there's a lot of time where it's like no, it's just more pickup for certain shots and certain things here and there. But the word reshoot has been that kind of like damned as a damned word in Hollywood now. Like oh shit, man, reshoots. This movie's in trouble, and there's been a lot of movies that we've loved that have been turned out really great that have reshoots. It's just all about just like, all right, let's tweak this. Oh, let's tweak that, whatever. Like, just whatever.
Oh,
Things happen. So, but
oh
no,
yeah.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, you first.
No, no, I was gonna add to your point and everything like that, and reshoots causes, like in terms of like that like that mindset for people to be like, oh, there's reshoots. Oh, well, damn, that feels like that movie's bad. I don't want to go see it now.
Yep.
So it feels like it's gonna be a bad film, and it feels like, and also like like I don't want to say, but like audiences are getting like smarter when it comes down
Oh yeah.
to something like that too as well, and more pickier, and everything. And before like before like COVID, social media wasn't this like crazy thing or whatever it is that it is now. I feel like now it's exploded, and people would just go see a movie. It doesn't matter if it was great or bad or whatever it was. They would just go see a movie, because they want to go see a movie,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, you
for
know.
sure.
But now it's like, oh well, it's how much is the movie, or what is it again or whatever. So we're definitely in that era too as well. But yeah, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
And also, I think too, this movie had it against it too. I think this movie was affected by, I think, still COVID. I think COVID definitely had a factor in this movie. I believe I heard. It was also under the past CEO before Bob Iger. It was Bob Iger was Bob Chapek. And I think he kind of handled things not the best way, as we all know, with the studio and the theme park, whatever. So I think this was the last movie that was affected by the regime change, COVID, and I believe the two strikes. So this movie had a lot. This movie had a lot like of baggage, regardless of
Yeah, yeah,
other than reshoots, but just because of like the world and the company
yeah.
changed. So it was like, well, shit. Like, give me what more do you want from me? That's all I got. I got this T-shirt. uh, uh,
Uh, no, one thing I would say is that I wish they didn't like listen to all of these noise and then decided to basically cross off like all these characters that were already cast in the movie. You know what I mean?
right,
In my mind, I'm like, okay, like what kind of movie was this? Before the reshoots and everything like that. You know,
right.
well, you have that.
For our audio listeners, I pulled up the Tyrese crying meme.
What more do you want from me? He's like, oh my
Well,
god.
that's the. Well, no, to your point, Moses, I think you're right. You're right. Like, what was this movie? And I assume not because Nick has he follows this really cool YouTube page called Bullets and Blockbusters that you put me on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna say like what really was Captain America: Brave New World, and give it time. We're gonna find out what the original plan was. And again, that's why when you have all these writers on board, it's like you have a lot for a. If it was like an Avengers movie, like a big, like huge team up movie, I get it. But then they did it with two writers for Marcus and McFeely, and once with two writers for Zach Penn co-wrote it with Josh Whedon, I believe, the first Avengers.
Yeah, the first Avengers.
And then Josh Whedon wrote it solo for Age of Ultron. So it's doable to do a movie like that. But to your point, Moses, I think you're right. I think it's all about like what this could have been and who was brought on to rewrite a lot of stuff too, or who was a script doctor. Because I always look on IMDb now and going into like additional crew, and I'll say rewrites this, or script department. Oh, so and so did a rewrite on this, whatever. It was like, oh no way. Like so, like, I always like seeing that on IMDb because you're like, oh, so this person rewrote this, whatever, blah 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 blah. But I'm curious. I'm curious too of like what the original plan was. And again, I don't want this Julius Ona, but maybe they should have hired someone maybe a bit more not competent, but maybe more experienced. I would say with the
A
big
little bit
blockbusters.
more seasoned.
Oh, I see. I mean, I would disagree because
Yeah,
yeah. I just wish that there weren't so many changes. That's where he got stuck at.
yeah,
You
for sure,
know,
for
he got
sure.
stuck. I feel like, you know, and when you have so many changes and everything like that, and also in the script, when you have so many fucking screenwriters, you as a director, like, and you're working for a studio, um, you're not really sort of like throwing your own ideas in there as much. Now you're having studios come in and throwing their ideas in there because you have so many freaking changes. I feel like if they had two writers only, there will be more of the director sort of like splash in the film in general. The one thing that I knew when I was watching the movie that I was like, okay, this is definitely the director's like style here.
Hmm.
Uh, when there's the suspensefulness and everything like that you kind of like felt,
Yeah,
uh,
Winter
here,
Soldier.
there,
Yeah,
and everything. I mean, yeah, and also kind of very much like thriller-esque too as well.
oh
Because
yeah, for sure.
I was like, okay, this is definitely the director's vision here. That I definitely saw. But yeah, that's just my takeaway, from it and everything. I don't know what other director that they would use that I would be like, okay, let's use him for the next Captain America or whatever. You know, I just think it was just all kind of like in a very, very sort of like you know, bad sort of like format when it comes down to having so many cooks in the kitchen, you know, overall. So, but yeah,
I could have seen Antoine Fuqua do this movie because he's done a lot of thrillers
Yeah.
before.
No, that would be dope.
And like
yeah,
remember the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, like how on
Yeah.
the run kind of thing of
Yeah, yeah,
like, but
yeah.
like I'm a big Antoine Fuqua fan, so I'm a little biased, but
yeah. I mean,
Who
I
the hell
don't.
is
I
out
mean,
there?
I feel like
Gavin O'Connor,
ooh, Gavin
the accountant.
O'Connor,
Uh-huh.
that would have been cool. That would have been cool. I could have seen that.
J.J.
Um,
Abrams.
yeah, he's still in director jail, I think.
Oh,
For,
okay, I'm with that. So I was
wait,
like, Mission
wait,
Impossible 3.
is in jail? Director jail?
well, because it's been 6 years since Skywalker, and he hasn't done anything
I,
movie
I
since.
I thought it was literally. I first, I mean, he made a bunch of money from that movie, though.
Oh
You
no,
know,
he definitely did. I think it was just people were just like the quality of his filmmaking. You could definitely tell, like my man.
He has been lacking. Like he did kind of like just progressively
I think
not get as good.
I feel like he's just producing now, right? And I feel like that's probably like his choice. I mean, you look at Steven Spielberg,
Yeah.
like his film that he's made, I haven't been really great, you know, in the box office, but he's
Oh hell
still,
no.
you know, he's still making
Still make
movies.
movies.
You
Still make
know, so
movies.
I feel like that's probably like a choice. I don't think he's like in the director chair at all. Even what's his name, Damien Chazelle, like he bombed at the box office. Like shit was bad when it came down to making Babylon, right? But it was still a good movie to watch.
Still a great movie. Fantastic movie.
Some people said it was terrible. It has like a
I,
very low score, you know.
that kind of boggles my mind. It's like that movie's it's long, but it's a great movie, and it's like I was confused. I was like, huh? I was kind of like, wait, we're seeing the same movie? I was like, wait a second, and we do that all the time at every screening we go to. It's like, oh, like we love this movie. Next day, man, fuck this movie. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck this movie, fuck you too. Like,
Like,
what
all right,
the
man,
hell?
man, you don't know movies, you fucking idiots. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's like, did we see a different fucking cut of the movie or what?
I was like, you must be paid. No, we're not. We wish.
Everybody says that except us.
But no, I see your point, Moses. I don't think, and I'm not trying to blame Julius Ona at all of this. I think you definitely tell he wanted to make this movie. I think it was just like got caught up with all the
Of
external.
all his things, and I hope that he doesn't get thrown in the director's chair or anything like that, you know, or anything like that. But I saw his interview and everything, and he just felt like he knew, you know, what he was talking about and everything like
Oh,
that.
for sure.
And I feel like if you give this guy, you know, one goddamn writer and everything like that, you know, I feel like he would you know, he would kill it because his other films, you know, they're you know, like they're all Loose too as well. That's also a really, really good movie and everything. But yeah, yeah, that's my takeaway with Captain America.
Speaking of him, actually, I was telling this to Nick when we saw Last Breath. There was an interview when he was doing Loose a couple years ago, and it was the funniest thing. Again, I mean, this is all love here. Or the mic was right here, and he was like all the way back here. And then I was watching the interview. I was like, my man, close to the mic, because like he was talking and we couldn't hear shit. He was like, oh, my bro, the mic is right there, man. The mic is right there. And like he was like so far back, and I'm like, I can't hear you, man. Go back. And that's just Mike, as interviewing 101. But no, I think I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna. I don't think because the movie's still. I think internationally it probably make its money back. Domestically, we'll see. Because I mean, it was surprising to see how low it dropped because there was nothing out last week except for the Monkey that came out last weekend. But this weekend is nothing too. Yeah, nothing as well. So I mean, it's the Oscars. So you would think, to your point, that you would think a Marvel movie that has two kind of free weekends should be just crushing at the box office now because the next big movie next week is Mickey 17, and we'll see how that does. But you're right; it had all this kind of runway to be like number one movie in America or in the world for 3 weeks in a row until Mickey 17 comes out, and it's not really doing the same thing like it probably would have done maybe 10 years ago with all this kind of extra extra box office wiggle room. So. No. I think also too. I think audiences are still trying to believe in the MCU again. I think they were so burned a lot the past couple of years. They're like, oh, this shit. So it's like earning the audience trust back because I think there's a few misfires with the TV shows and the movies. But again, it's you can't bat 1,000% every time. It's impossible.
Yeah,
So
and also Marvel is starting to realize that, every movie that they make is not always going to be a 10.
No, not at all. Not
And
at all.
and people are blaming, Kevin Feige for things or whatever. Like, man, like stop blaming Kevin Feige. This guy literally brought you, 10 years worth of fucking movies. You know what I mean? And now you're like, nah, man, he's trash, bro. He's trash. Take him out and everything like that. Dude, you know what he brought you? He brought you your childhood.
Yeah.
Now you're blaming
Damn.
him for
Yeah.
mistakes here and there. I don't think that's right. He definitely brought my childhood, to life for sure. So,
For sure.
and people just need to realize that Marvel, also makes mistakes when it comes down to movies or whatever, we don't bash like Star Wars as much as we bash Marvel. We don't bash, you know, DC as much as we bash Marvel whenever they make a mistake and everything like that. So, and I mean maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong here. You know what I mean? Um,
Nah, DC gets dragged through the fucking mud, bro. Especially when they compare it to Marvel, to the MCU. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I mean, no. I'm talking about when they make a mistake. I'm not talking about. Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. See,
Flash,
he's
the
like,
Flash,
nah, you get it. Like I done told you.
the Flash was dragged. The Flash was definitely dragged to the floor.
Almost every DCEU movie was just fucking trashed on, bro.
They got dragged. But also to your point, it was doing the unfair in comparison to a pre-established universe while DC was playing catch up. But to Moses' point, I think Moses was saying that they had a track record of being hit after hit after hit after hit.
No misses, right?
No misses.
And Marvel now just kind of needs to understand that, hey, you know what I mean? One miss is okay. You know what I mean? And move on from that or whatever, and keep going and everything like that and just keep making the film because overall, like, if you keep doing that, people are going to latch on eventually back, So, and like, yeah, I feel like they should only replace Kevin Feige if he decides to retire or decides he wants to move on, because I feel like if they do decide to like put on a different person, I would actually be upset because I'm a huge fan of Kevin Feige.
If it was a different person, like they would really, really, really need to show that they can at least keep up with Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. Like Kevin Feige did something like no one's ever done before. Like I've never seen, and it's like with superheroes. When I was a kid, like I used to get teased for liking superheroes. Now it's like one of the biggest franchises out there, which is insane. And it's like Kevin Feige had been like trying to like build that up like since the first X-Men movie, which is also crazy because that's like, damn, that was 25 years ago. So it's like, Moses, to your point, it's like Kevin Feige is that guy.
Yeah, so yeah, man, I know overall, the next couple sort of like years for Marvel, I know they're gonna be good, but I'm excited to see what the Thunderbolts, brings to the table. And and go from there because I know that movie is going to be really, really, comical too as well and super light, but also have its moments when it comes down to like action and everything like that. So I'm excited for it.
That and F4.
Fantastic Four. Yeah,
that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean that's also this going to be. I'm excited to see that. I mean, I'm definitely excited to see that movie. Because I know it's like in terms of like the director's vision, I can tell that the director has a lot of has a lot of sort of it's his vision basically. You can tell okay, this is Matt Shackman's vision here.
Oh, for sure.
So
for sure.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I do think they should definitely go back to what made him so special. The early MCU was quality over quantity. Yep. And I think with streaming, and I think with just still the competition of the box office, small or big, whatever, it's like put them out. And I do think it's go back to the quality. Go back to the quality. You had a great quality with certain filmmakers and certain storytelling decisions. So definitely go back to the quality over quantity methods. I think people were so caught up with like the streaming wars and COVID, and it's like go back because when you go back to the quality of the MCU, that was peak really good quality. So I think you go back to that kind of model of filmmaking and entertainment, you'll see results. I think you'll see results. I think Captain America: Brave New World got caught up with like all the third party issues of like in studio heads and COVID and strikes, whatever. It was kind of just like it just had a just all this baggage that was kind of unwanted or unneeded, and then unfortunately kind of suffered from that. But I think down the road, I think it's gonna be like Rotten Tomatoes was wrong about this movie, and I think Brave New World probably be definitely like one of those films of like the
Yeah,
critics,
no,
wrong
yeah,
about.
yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, because the audience score was even better than the Rotten Tomato score
Oh, for
overall.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think I think a lot of people now are listening to the audience score more than the critic score. And this is someone who, again, this is a critic based podcast, but I do think that we're still all of us are still fans first, of course. We're still audience first, no matter what. And I do think that I think a lot more people are listening to the audience score now than they are, or podcasters more than they are like the quote unquote critics. But again, I do think it's been a while since I think No Way Home. No, I think Deadpool Wolverine was like the audience score was like here, and the critic score was still good, but the audience score was like through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's like okay,
yeah,
it's probably go back to the day of like having them kind of being somewhat equal or somewhat close enough, but I think the audience score holds a bit more now. I think to a lot of people, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, guys, let us know in the comments below what you guys think of both Last Breath and, of course, Captain America: Brave New World, which are both in theaters now. So if you're looking for something to go to the movies, man, we have a lot of options in the theaters right now. Go check out these movies because, again, there's a lot of variety of entertainment in the theaters. But check them out, guys, and let us know what y'all think. Alrighty, guys. So, as of course, as we always end the show here, we do a thing called our one-on-ones. We do all of us give a one TV show recommendation and one film recommendation. Moses, my friend, the floor is yours. What are your one-on-ones of this week?
my one-on-ones of this week. Damn. Sorry, I have to
What
like
what
I
the
have,
hell do you mean? Damn.
I have to go to like
What do you
my
mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't have like one-on-ones of the week?
and
It's all I got, Moses.
My gosh.
no. What do you want from me?
You want from me?
I mean, of course, I would say go watch, Captain America: Brave New World. It's just a fun movie. When you basically, take your mind when you basically go into theaters and you watch this movie and you decide to basically, forget all the hate, forget all that that is negative about this film, and you just lock in and everything like that, and you watch it for entertainment. You'll realize that it's a joyride, and it's really really entertaining overall to sort of like watch. And yeah, I think more people should go see it and support this new Captain America, Sam Winston, Anthony Mackie, and the brave new world that we are right now. Not kidding, no.
nice, nice plug.
And basically just watch a movie and kind of just explore his journey, throughout the film as he basically transitioned into Captain America in general. I feel like, and
You see the
there's also a rap battle in the movie.
to our audio listeners, someone made a death battle rap thing. It's 8 Rabbit, Eminem, and it's Papa Dog, but it's Anthony Mackie and he's Captain America.
But
I don't think he's gonna make it out of this one.
I don't think we're gonna make it out of this one. No, and yeah, and I would say for a show, what show have um I would recommend the news. Actually, I would recommend the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, that show.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
it's a really really fun show, and there was a lot of hate on it at the beginning when it first got introduced and everything like that, of course. But when people actually sat down and actually watched the thing, I'm like, damn, it's a really really fun show, um, and um, and it kind of takes like a more like you know like realistic kind of route a little bit,
Okay.
from in terms of like Peter Parker himself,
Yeah.
and also him trying to be like, like Spider-Man or whatever it is. He's just a kid, and you realize that in the very beginning of the show, it's like this guy's just a kid who, you know, who has this ability, and he's really really smart, and he's trying to do something with it, you know, right? And he has like he has friends, you know, that he really really cares about. He has his aunt and everything like that, you know, and it's just a fun little adventure, to be honest with you. It's just fun little adventure, and and yeah, I definitely recommend people to go check out this show. And it's super light too as well, you know, by the way. And there's some little bit of fun little references that they have in the show from, you know, the MCU that they basically throw in here and there. And I gotta say, man, you know, Coleman Domingo, like I was not into like him being like, you know, like Osborne at all and everything like that. But I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching, I was like, wait a minute, this guy, is he pulling this character off? You know what I mean?
So he's good in the role, huh?
Yeah, I mean, no, at first, man, I wasn't even gonna watch the show. I wasn't even watch the show and everything like that because I was like, okay, this is more of like a kid show and everything like that. But when I watched it, you know, I'm like, this guy really, really, in terms of like his voice and the way he portrays his character and everything, you know, yeah, man, you know, I thought it was good. So, but hey, man, don't take my word for it because you guys know I enjoy everything. So, you know,
No,
I will definitely be watching.
No,
this.
I gotta watch
gotta
this.
say, this is the only version of Norman Osborn where it makes sense for him to have waves in his hair.
Wasn't there a meme? Wasn't there a meme? Wasn't like the meme with Willem Dafoe having? Hold up.
That's kind of wild. As a little kid, like I was like, why is his hair like that? And someone had pointed out like Green Goblin wears the do-rag so that Norman Osborn will have the waves because Green Goblin has like the purple like cap, but Norman Osborn's hair always has waves in it.
There was a meme, not that one. It was yeah, it was fun. I think it was like around No Way Home when No Way Home was coming out. Yeah,
I was seeing that one a lot.
That one, this one, Willem Dafoe with the waves. But there was another one too. It was there was a meme about it too, and they put the waves on him. And Coleman Domingo is a cool dude. His voice is very like it's very suave and very like hey, it's very cool.
Like him and like it was like one of his first scenes in Euphoria. I was like,
yeah,
oh, where did this guy come from?
You know, he's also very good in Candyman.
Oh yeah, he was good at Candyman.
Excuse me,
I didn't see that because you know.
Candyman was good. Like Moses, if I would ever genuinely recommend a horror movie to you, it would be Candyman. The first one with Tony Todd, and then the second one with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, because they're really good movies, but also they're not like too scary. They're on the lighter side. Wait, actually, Doug, go back to the. So I would recommend those two. Oh yeah, right here. That's the one.
You know what's crazy? No one on the do-rag.
That's crazy.
Also, I think people they were like, wasn't Tom Holland in the Spider-Man show? Legally, they're not allowed to do that. Legally, he cannot be in any television series because Sony owns the rights to live action television, so they can't make an animated series with Tom Holland in it because it's a contract thing with Sony and Marvel.
And like, cause I still haven't seen it yet, but like when they were making it, I just kind of assumed like it was gonna be like, well, this is his like MCU origin, whether it was before Secret Wars or after. But yeah, I guess it's just its own thing. Cause like they brought back like Charlie Cox, I guess, as Daredevil. I'm like, you know, I'm more intrigued to see it now, to be honest.
And also,
they also brought back Doctor Strange on
the show. I've heard that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And it's just its own thing.
Yo, Nick, you're gonna like, you know, I think you would love because you know Tombstone's character, you know, in this, they focus more on like his character development, you know, and how he was before and everything like that. So, you know, there's like this like little like tag team moment with like Tombstone and like Spider-Man a little bit that they kind of have.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I gotta watch it. That's about to be my whole weekend now. I'm about to just binge that show.
Isn't Daredevil coming back next week too?
March
Yeah.
4th.
Oh shit.
March 4th.
All right, hot take. I've only seen season 1 of Daredevil.
You've only seen season 1?
Yeah.
You got it.
Wait,
You got
what?
it.
Is that crazy? I've only seen season 1 of Daredevil.
Dude.
Season 1 of
Yeah,
Daredevil is
man, bro.
fucking flames. Like, don't get me wrong. You definitely, especially going into like Born Again, you definitely got to see seasons 2 or 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah, you gotta see-
and Defenders. But like, you watch it in season 1, 2, Defenders, 3. You got to watch it in that order for it to make sense. But yeah.
It was funny seeing No Way Home with the ex-girlfriend because she was like, "Who is that?" I said, "Daredevil." She was okay, and she knew who that was. I was like, "That's Daredevil."
I was bugging when that happened, man. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, Nick. The floor is yours, my friend. What are your 1-on-1s of the week?
So since we're talking about Captain America, I'm going to keep it Marvel themed. For my movie, it was this animated film from 2006 called The Ultimate Avengers, and it was just it was like Marvel had teamed up with Lionsgate, and it was based off of the Ultimate Avengers iteration of the characters, where they had kind of like rebooted it, and they wanted to make them more quote unquote realistic. Like, what if they existed in the real world? And it was dope. And like, this was like, I saw this movie as a kid before the live action Avengers, and like this movie is PG-13, but it's more violent. It's a little bit more mature, shall we say, than the movie was. And they just kind of, it was just, and they had like a duology, kind of a trilogy in a way, because the like part 2 was like they go to Wakanda, and then part 3 is like Ultron fucking killed everybody, and it's like it was just like their kids kind of existed in this like kind of Terminator-esque world. But really, really cool movie. So that's and like actually going into the 2012 one, I wanted that to be more like this one, where it's just, you know, like a little bit more like kind of like gritty with how they handled this shit.
Because wasn't Avengers was the first Disney produced Marvel project, correct?
It was either that or maybe Captain
No,
America.
it was I think it was the Avengers. Actually,
was it? Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think
It was either that or Captain America First Avenger, I think.
I think
No. It wasn't Captain America First Avenger.
I think Paramount still had full control of Captain America. I could be wrong, but I think
Then if that's the case, then yeah, I think it would have been.
because I know Paramount co-produced Avengers because they were still under development with. Let me check real quick. So yeah, that was Disney was the first one, but they co-produced it with Paramount because Paramount also co-produced Iron Man 3 because that was the part of the deal. So the last Paramount involved Marvel project was Iron Man 3.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I think Disney was the first. I think Avengers was the first Disney one. Even though Paramount co-produced it, and then let's double check. Let's make sure. Check the facts. America First Avenger. Oh, maybe. No, Paramount. Okay, Paramount was that was the last one they had full control of, and then Avengers was the first one. Cause I think the deal was happening around that time. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah. So Ultimate Avengers movie. But yeah, like the basic plot is like it's kind of like the live action one. Nick Fury has to get the Avengers together because the Chitauri is coming. But in this iteration of it, Nick Fury doesn't want to get the Avengers together because he just sees them as kind of like loose cannons. So it's like they're all forced to work together, and then yeah. Like, I don't want to get too much into it because it would kind of go into spoilers, but it's one of my personal favorite animated superhero movies, I guess. Like, I really like this iteration of everything, of all the characters and just how they handled it, and I do wish the live action one would have kind of taken more from it.
Did these get acquired by Disney when Disney bought Marvel, or is it still its own thing right now?
I think it's still its own thing right now. I don't see it any.
I don't think they got acquired by Disney because again, this was Lionsgate. So
I said we good. He said no, we're good.
Yeah, because I think it was just like once like Disney kind of did their thing, it was just they just forgot about all of this shit. I guess.
Really?
I don't know.
It was funny. I remember when the first Iron Man came out. I went to the library. And I read Extremis,
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking dark. I
No,
was
yeah.
like, so I was like, shit.
When they said they were doing that for Iron Man 3, I was like, oh, let's go. But again, it's like, they had to change it up a little bit. And I get it. It is what it is. But, man, I would have loved that for Iron Man 3. And actually, speaking of Iron Man, my show is Iron Man Armored Adventures. It was a Nicktoons show around the time I think Iron Man 3 was coming out, matter of fact, and it was like it's just Saturday morning cartoon. It's got like the CGI animation style. Tony Stark, Rhodey, and Pepper Potts are the main trio. They're all teenagers, so it's obviously very early on in Iron Man's career. But so you see him, he has to deal with like high school and all that bullshit. But it's also like cameos from other Marvel characters. Like I think Magneto comes through, the Hulk, Black Panther, Nick Fury. And
Wait, I forgot all about that. Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah,
it's either on Disney Plus, maybe on Paramount Plus, because it was Nicktoons.
It looks like they have it now. Looks like Disney got it.
Plus. Okay,
I think Disney. I think Disney got. I think certain things were like licensed out. And I'm pretty sure they either bought it or they licensed it out to them.
Disney needs to get those
Nick had it, huh?
Avengers movies, bro.
Oh, that's right. Nick. That's why Nick had it, because Paramount. Yep.
What's up?
Yeah, because Paramount owns Nick. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
But that's it for me. That's my one-on-one.
All right, this is gonna be tough. So I didn't really watch anything new, but you know what? I don't think I did a weird binge deal of movies on Sunday. I did a quadruple feature. I did Social Network, Moneyball, The Big Short, and Dumb Money all on the same day. Kind of weird biopic kind of thing, but I'm gonna go with.
I've done it before.
Yeah, right. It's
like 5 movies or whatever. Just like, dang, this is a good day for movies.
Them be the best fucking days, man.
Yeah, I watched all because I wanted to watch Social Network because it's on 4K now. I was like, they give you the Blu-ray copy of it too, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch it. Social Network, to me, this movie, no joke. I was like, oh, this movie changed my life. This movie changed how I saw movies. I remember I saw it in the 7th grade, and I was like, what is this? In the best possible way. I was like, holy shit, because I was just on Facebook for the first time, because that's when Facebook was still the cool thing to be on. I didn't really know much about the story, but I remember some like we were in the 7th grade when this came out, and a bunch of high schoolers I knew, because my school was 7th and 8th grade in one wing, another wing was high school, and all the high school was like, oh, we're seeing the Social Network this weekend. And I was like, I want to be cool and see that movie. I was like, I want to see this movie. And I remember seeing it like a long time after it came, like in theaters after it came out. And I said, whoa. I was like, this movie's so cool. So I thought like the acting was so cool. The dialogue was so cool. And that's when I realized like, okay, what is a director? What is a screenwriter? What is a part of a producer, whatever. I remember reading so much about how this movie was made. That was my first David Fincher film I ever watched, Social Network. Wow. I learned who Aaron Sorkin was as a writer. I learned, because I just saw Zombieland for the first time too. I'm like, oh, it's a guy from Zombieland. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I remember like that's how that movie kind of opened my eyes to like not just acting, but like writing, cinematography, editing, composing, all that stuff. And I was like, holy shit. But I think it's a perfect movie. I think the script is just chef's kiss, flawless by Aaron Sorkin. It's David Fincher. It's not as dark as like a Seven, of course, or The Killer or Fight Club, but like it's still not a watered down Fincher film. It's It's a thriller about Facebook, which is like, who would have thought like you make a social thriller about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, and it's a perfect movie. Everyone is so casted. I mean, from Jesse Eisenberg to Andrew Garfield to Justin Timberlake to Rooney Mara, you name it. Everyone is just casted just like perfectly. But it kind of shows of like how Facebook had the world at one point, like how like Zuckerberg made this thing that changed how we interact with everybody with social media and everything. How like it's became this kind of like addiction to everything. And it's 2 hours. I think the pace is phenomenal. Even though I think he's canceled now, but I think Armie Hammer is really good in this, because when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, those 2 twins were good. They're like, no, that was one actor. I said, bullshit. No way, it was one actor. And sure enough, he played the Winklevoss twins. And I said, oh my god. But just the screenplay is just so good. It's just so witty. It's so crisp, and the dialogue is just amazing. But man, I think I might like no. I think it's probably my favorite David Fincher film, and I love Seven, and I love The Killer, and I love Gone Girl, whatever. But to me, I can watch this movie over and over again, and it's like I feel like energized because it's just it's so good. So this movie definitely changed my life and how I saw movies, and it's a big reason why I wanted to study screenwriting in college with you guys because I was like because of this movie right here, and I was just like holy shit. That should have won Best Picture that year, not The King's Speech. I'm sorry. That movie was boring, and this movie should have won all the awards because it's just a masterfully made movie. Everyone's batting 1,000 in this movie, from writing, directing, producing, editing, cinematography, score. Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross did the score. It's so good.
Great.
It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, definitely. It's one of those films I think that was named like the best film of like the decade. I think 2010 in the 2010s because of just like how like the impact it had on like the world when it came out. So definitely check out The Social Network if you haven't already. But yeah, it's a flawless movie. And for my show, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna do a YouTube series, and that's the Russo Brothers Pizza Film School. I was watching it today actually. It's the wrong Russo. Russo Brothers Pizza Film School. They started this thing during COVID, and like on Zoom, whatever. They bring in a lot of the collaborators like Josh Brolin, Alan Silvestri, you name it. And they bring in a lot of cool guests. They had Zack Snyder on about a year ago, and I think Joe and Zach went to UCLA together. They're classmates. And it's cool seeing you got the guy of Justice League, and you got the Avengers on the left, whatever. But it's a really kind of cool because I love kind of when you see like it's not like no offense to Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel or Conan, whatever, but like I like seeing filmmakers talk to filmmakers and kind of in their own elements. Not like, hey, do you like this movie? I like it too. Like not like prompts or kind of like, oh, yes, whatever. But you could tell like all these guys are very kind of like just like and admire each other. And this season they had Marcus McFeely, who wrote All Captain Americas and both Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War, and also their first big break was Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. And they also wrote The Gray Man, Electric State, and I believe McFeely's coming back to write Doomsday and Secret Wars. And they also had this guy, playing on his name. It's their first AD. Definitely, Moses, watching this one, I thought of you watching it because they had their first AD from Infinity War, Endgame, Winter Soldier, Civil War, whatever. And I forgot the guy's name. Let me pull it up. They also had the Marvel casting director, Sarah Finn, on the season 2. But who is the guy? What's this guy's name? I'm blanking on this guy's name, but it's Chris something. And he was the first AD on Hancock. He was the first AD on a lot of Peter Berg movies. He was the first AD on a lot of Michael Bay films. This guy, Chris Castaldi, and his IMDb is crazy. But he got his first big break because he was working at a restaurant in Los Angeles, and he was kind of the manager at the time, whatever. And he managed Ron Howard's kid's birthday party, and he met Ron Howard by working in this restaurant, whatever. And Ron Howard gave him his first start because he did a great job managing his kid's birthday party. Oh, and his first movie was a PA on a movie called Ed TV. And ever since then, he got just like all these different roles because Ron Howard was very impressed with like how he kind of ran like the restaurant he was working at, and gave him a shot, which is like crazy. But it's still also because the Russo brothers were hired by Ron Howard to do Arrested Development, so very full circle for everybody. But no, I think it's a very cool show because again, it's just like it's an hour episodes, whatever. And it's a very kind of just like talking about their starts, very inspirational, a lot of admiration between all three of them and their guests, whatever. And again, also the Russos are good at kind of like asking good questions, kind of just like asking more about like how'd you get here, how did this happen, or talk about your failures too. And it's like it's a very kind of like intimate, like very personal conversation. I think it's good that can I see more insight for if you're interested in kind of like how the industry works, whatever. So for sure, it's on YouTube only, but definitely check out the Pizza Film School by Russo Brothers because it's a very insightful web series, I'll call it. Yeah. But yeah, Social Network for sure. Watch that. It's on 4K now on Blu-ray. Get the 4K on it. Physical media represent, and then definitely watch the Russo Film School on YouTube. So definitely, and YouTube would love it. YouTube would love the series because it's very insightful and just very inspirational, I'll say too.
I mean, I definitely seen like a few, maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good. It's very good, and it feels very personal. It doesn't really feel like overproduced. It doesn't feel like, hey, look at that camera or look at me. It's like no, it's very just kind of just like a natural kind of like how this show is very natural. We just have a conversation. It doesn't feel like overproduced or like overmanaged or whatever. But yeah, check that out. Alrighty, boys. Moses, where can our lovely audience find you home on the socials?
You can find me at Moses
Oh, here we go.
Moses Lowy underscore, and you can find me at my website at Moses Lowy. Sorry, directed by Moses Lowy .com. And as always, you can find me here, on this beautiful, lovely podcast, The Genre of Your Life.
All right, Nick.
You can find me on Instagram at AhmadJohnson98. You can find my short film on the link tree down here. And as always, you can, of course, find me here at Midway Avenue Productions on the Genre of Your Life podcast.
And you can find me on my personal Instagram page at The Young Jones. You can find me on Twitter or X at Capri-Sun, Capri_SON. Of course, you can find me here on the Genre of Your Life podcast every week. Again, check out everyone's articles from Nick's to Moses's to both our award-winning short films. All information is here in our link tree. Go to our Instagram page, which should be right here. A little visual for you all to our video watchers. It should be it's the link in our bio. Come on, load. It's the first link right here. So all these guys' amazing hard work that they put in, them being featured in articles. Check it out. We have a lot in store for you guys the next few weeks. So be sure to turn on your notifications, whether on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We have a lot more cool content for you all to produce and put out for you guys. So stay tuned. But of course, my friends, hope you all have a lovely end of February. Have a great start to March. And of course, we'll see you guys at the movies.